Hello and welcome. Every single second, there's an absolutely incredible journey happening inside your body. We're talking about signals flashing through this super complex network that lets you think, move, and react. Today, we're going to follow one of those signals, from the initial spark all the way to the final action. So here's a question for you. How do you react so incredibly fast? How do you pull your hand away from something hot before you even really feel the pain? Or how do you dodge something out of the corner of your eye? It all comes down to a communication system that is, quite literally, faster than a blink of an eye. Okay, let's set the scene. Imagine you reach out your hand and you accidentally touch something sharp. Bam! Your hand is already pulled back. That wasn't really a choice you made, was it? Nope, it was this automatic protective reflex. So how on earth did that happen? Let's trace that signal's journey right from your fingertip and back, all in a tiny fraction of a second. Right, so every single reaction, every movement we make, it has to start with some kind of trigger. Our bodies are constantly getting these little pings, these signals of change from the world around us. And the whole amazing process of coordination kicks off with this one little spark. That sharp object we talked about? Well, in biology, that's called a stimulus. It's basically any signal or change that makes a living thing react. It could be bright sunlight making you squint, a sudden loud noise that makes you jump, or even the amazing smell of food that gets your mouth watering. All living things, from the smallest plant to us, respond to stimuli. So, a stimulus has been detected. Now what? How does that message get where it needs to go? Well, your body has its own incredible, high-speed biological wiring. It's time to meet the messenger, the specialized cell that carries these signals at lightning speed. And here it is, the neuron, also known as a nerve cell. This little guy is the absolute hero of our story today. Your entire nervous system is built from over 100 times billion of these cells. Can you even imagine? They're all talking to each other, forming this huge interconnected network that controls, well, everything you do. So if you look at a neuron, it's basically structured like a tiny biological wire. You've got the dendrites, think of those as the antennas, catching the signals. The cell body is the control center, processing everything. And then there's the axon. That's the long cable that shoots the signal onward to the next neuron in the chain. So how does this system get to be so ridiculously fast? Well, a lot of axons are wrapped in this fatty layer called the myelin sheath. It works just like the plastic insulation you see on an electrical cord. It keeps the signal from fizzling out and lets it travel at truly unbelievable speeds. It's a biological superconductor. But here's where it gets interesting. The signal's journey isn't just one long, continuous wire. To get from one neuron to the next, our little message has to make a tiny but totally crucial leap across a gap. And this connection point is called a synapse. Now, it's not a physical connection, it's a microscopic space between the end of one neuron and the beginning of the next. It's right here that the message gets handed off, kind of like a baton in the universe's fastest relay race. And this is where the real magic happens. To cross that synaptic gap, the electrical impulse actually transforms into a chemical signal. These little chemical messengers flood across the space, dock with the next neuron, and instantly trigger a brand new electrical signal. And this whole transformation, it happens in less than a millisecond. It's just wild. Okay, let's get back to our sharp object. For a normal, everyday action, that danger signal would have to travel all the way to your brain to be processed. But in an emergency, your body has a brilliant shortcut, a way to react before your brain even really knows what's going on. This shortcut is called the reflex arc. You can think of it as a body's emergency override system. Instead of taking the long road trip up to the brain, the danger signal takes a quick detour to the spinal cord, which immediately fires back a command to act now. So here's exactly how that pathway unfolds. Step 1. Receptors in your skin scream, danger! 2. A sensory neuron zips that message straight to the spinal cord. 3. The spinal cord acts like a local command center and issues an immediate order. 4. A motor neuron carries that order back out. And 5. The effector muscle in your arm gets the message and contracts, pulling your hand to safety. And all of this happens automatically. So you see, there's a huge difference here. A reflex is an involuntary, super fast response that's handled by the spinal cord. But a voluntary action, like, say, deciding to pick up a book, that's a conscious choice. That signal has to go all the way to the brain for you to think about it, which makes it a much, much slower process. Now, this lightning-fast nervous system is amazing for sure, but it's not the only control system we have. Your body actually has two major communication networks working together, and each one has its own specialty. One is built for pure speed, and the other is built for stamina. The brain, of course, is the ultimate command center for the nervous system. You've got the forebrain, which handles all the complex stuff like thinking, memory, and emotions. The midbrain is like a relay station, and the hindbrain helps coordinate our balance and posture. This is where all those voluntary signals get processed.
But right alongside the speedy nervous system, we've got the endocrine system, and it plays a totally different game. It doesn't use electrical zaps. Instead, its messengers are chemicals called hormones, which travel through your bloodstream to deliver instructions for slower, more long-term things.
Honestly, here's the absolute best way to think about it. The nervous system is your body's email. It's instant, direct, and perfect for those urgent, need-it-now reactions. The endocrine system, that's more like the postal service. It's slower, delivering messages all over the body that can have effects that last for hours, days, or even years. One's an instant message, the other is a long-term strategy. And that leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. Your body has one system for those split-second, life-saving reactions, and a whole other system for slow, steady, long-term regulation. They're constantly interacting, constantly influencing each other in ways we're still just beginning to understand. So the big question is, which one do you think is truly in charge?